Israel, a place where terror and war have disrupted life for 3 generations. It's not always visible, but post-traumatic stress is everywhere. Thousands are left without a connection to adequate care, leading to a normal life.
During my career as a physician here in Sheba for many years, I met and I got close to many youngsters that were injured during wars or terrible accidents, and I escorted them through part of the treatment. In the majority of them, I found out that they needed also our mental support, because the trauma that they witnessed was such disturbing that even fixing the physical disability was not enough, and they needed really our support to go back to the community.
On Yom Kippur in 1973, Israel was ravaged by a violent surprise. No one was prepared either for the attack or for the thousands of lives left stranded by PTSD after the war. Yair survived a devastating attack to his tank unit. Everyone else in his command was killed. Nearly 40 years have passed, and yet Yair remains tied to the memories of his fallen friends.
I'm thinking about the war. In the nights, I can't sleep. I remember all my friends, and I'm going to the cemetery once a week.
Sheba has always opened its heart to care for terror victims and wounded soldiers afflicted with PTSD. Unfortunately, Yair and his generation of PTSD victims were not cured. The knowledge was simply not available.
We try to avoid this situation. Huge effort is invested in treating those patients. But then at the end of the day, they go home, and over there they face their difficulties all alone.
For the last decade, terror attacks and 2 brutal wars have sadly created a new generation of young patients that have to come to Sheba. Eyal Neifeld's experience represents the thousands whose lives were radically changed in a split second. Eyal survived the bus explosion that left him blind and deaf.
When the bus stopped and the door was open, I heard somebody yelling. So I look back forward and I see the suicide bomber hugging the second soldier behind me and boom, blowing himself with him.
Young victims of war or terror face not only the tragedy of a broken body, but loss of their youthful expectations. Treating their state of mind is the greater challenge.
The minute he entered his parents' house, he actually moved into his room, closed the door, shuttered all the windows, sat in the dark. He became more angry. He sometimes even threw things at the door. So everybody gave up, and he was totally isolated.
But there is hope, as Sheba has developed treatments to rehabilitate the body and the mind as one. We now can put victims of PTSD on a path back to society to live a productive, full life. Tzachi Langer today is a successful businessman, but he is also a PTSD victim who, with great effort, finally can lead a productive, full life.
We saw the airplanes, the Egyptian airplanes, attacking us, and there were 44 tanks. We stayed 3 tanks. One of the tanks was mine. When I finish work, I go home. Sometimes I have 3 great kids and a family that supports me. But at night, during the night, I don't sleep. I see flashbacks. I see blood on top of me. A few times I saw blood on me and I felt blood and I went to the shower to clean it.
Together with the Hopeful Dawn Foundation, we recruited a very successful architect, Daniel Lipskin, whom you heard, because he's known all over the world. And we fantasized together a new, modern facility.
It's a very different building from the institutional notions associated with the hospital, because this is for people who really need a place to live, a place to be, a home.
The Sheba PTSD Institute is the world's first organization dedicated entirely to the science of treating PTSD. It serves as a research institute, a global resource for information about treatments, and as a home where PTSD victims are nurtured on the path back to life.
You can make a choice. You can make a choice whether to close the door and run your own independent, almost full life at the afternoon or evening within your room, or step out and get the maximal help.
In the Hopeful Dawn facility here in Sheba, we'll be able to amplify it and we contribute and give much more to these youngsters who really need this kind of assistance.
All this is done while going hand in hand with the staff, especially with the case manager. He will walk you out. He will go with you to the job interview, to your first meeting at the university.
Ron Weinreich served as a tank commander during the Second Lebanon War. Wounded in battle, his devastating wounds were treated at Sheba. But his life was drastically altered. Today, this intelligent young man lives in a wheelchair, striving for normalcy.
The line between being the best and being rock bottom is actually very thin. Because at the end of the day, it's just simply a decision of what a person is gonna do. If a person decides that he's gonna feel sorry for himself, or or not live up to what he's capable of, then it's a very, very slippery slope to to fall all the way down. On the other hand, if somebody has a mentor of some kind that can motivate him to go on the other side of the line and really try hard and climb his way up, then it's looking at life from a high point, which is the best.
This innovative approach to this kind of patient, no doubt that are going to be copied to the rest of the world.
Over the past 40 years, progress was made. Unfortunately, there are still thousands in Israel and millions around the world waiting for a better life. Today we know a more optimistic future is possible.